everybody. So my latest update, adding some new gear to the WaterBox 35.2 all-in-one. I wasn't going to do this and go this far. I wanted to keep the tank really as simplistic as possible. But my son started seeing some videos and pictures and stuff and wanted his aquarium to look more like a reef. So I originally wasn't going to do any corals in it. I was just going to put the clam in it and be done. But he wants some corals, so I'm going to go that route. And when adding corals, I think it's just, in my opinion, it's just easier to throw some technology to it as well. So while I really hated to spend the money on this because it's not cheap whatsoever, we have for his tank an ApexEL. Now I have the standard Apex on the 100 gallon, but I didn't see the need in going that far for his tank. The main thing is, I want to have the secondary like temperature and then the pH, I didn't really see a point in trying to monitor the salinity on it, like being a smaller tank, and it doesn't really fluctuate. I've got that, the nicer Tunzi auto top off on it. So it works really well, so it stays really stable. Also got a automatic fish feeder, which I've never used these before. The one that I had prior was the Eheim. So I've never used the Neptune one, so we'll have to see how that one works out. And then just the probe holder, which I'm hoping I can work it into the back of the all-in-one somewhere for these probes. Already got it out of the box. I didn't bother doing an unboxing of it. I mean, there's a million videos out there on that, and I already did an unboxing of the other Apex. It's basically the same thing with the exception of on the main controller, a brain to it that's missing a few of the ports, and then it's missing the ORP and salinity probes. So it's $300 difference, I think, in price, basically just to be lacking those probes. So anyway, that's what we have. I'll get it all mounted, and also going to show you the other update and changes in his tank. Okay, so before I get the new controller all wired in and set up, what you will notice if you've been following along is that I rescaped the whole thing. The way that I originally had it was with the, what's it called, the reef rock stacking stuff or whatever, where it has the fiberglass rod. And it was stacked up, and the rock went about to the top, and it looked neat enough. It was good for the initial intentions of the tank. But now that my son is wanting some corals in here, I had to rescape it so that I had kind of platforms and spaces and crevices that I can add corals to. And mainly to make sure that I had a lot of flow on top of them and then plenty of light hitting them. So I ordered in more of the Reef Saver rock. I think the piece here is the only original piece I kept out of it. The rest of the pieces were all pieces were all arches, and I just like the new ones better. I really like this guy because it's a like a cave inside there. Made lots of kind of stacked different arches, different ways, have a lot of different openings, a lot of different crevices and all for the fish to hide in and things. I'm really satisfied with it. Some people, like I said, aquascaping, when it comes to stuff, is all personal preference. There's some people going to look at it and say, oh gosh, that's that's just a big pile of rock, and you're not going to get flow all up under it, and that sucks, and it'll build up waste and detritus everywhere. Then you have some people that like it, and then some people that even just stack it up even more so it's not even as open as this. So it's all just in preference. I think it's going to be okay flow wise. I'm actually thinking about getting one more Neuro 3. I've got one. I think I'm going to get one more for the other side and add to the tank. And then I've got some test corals here that we're going to try out and see how they respond to the tank so far. Hopefully they'll do okay. So basically I've got a couple Zoas there, and then I put these guys on the frag rack because I don't know if they will survive or not. So, you know, I like doing, or I want to do some SPS type things. So I've got 3 bird's nest. It was a combo pack that was cheaper from Worldwide Corals. Like if you buy each of them individually, they're like, you know, $18, $20 a piece, something like that. Or you can get the 3-pack for like 40, I think it was. So those are fairly cheap. And then I've got 2 of the, I think it's digitatas, Montiporas. I think most people just call them digis. We have a purple one and then a fire one, or not necessarily purple, it's blue, something or another. And then I say it's more orange than anything, but orange, red color, fire. So I just put those on a frag rack so I can see how they do in this tank. I didn't want to glue them down yet and then they die. So anyway, that's it right now. I still just have the one AI HD 16. I'm thinking about getting a 32 to put on this tank if I'm gonna, you know, do more corals in it. Then I'm gonna probably need some more light. So we'll see. I'm not, you know, it's one of those things I always cave for my kids. I'm a big pushover. My kids ask for something and I always cave and give it to them. So I'm spending more money on my son's tank when I thought I was finished with it, and I need to be putting the money on the 100 gallon, but he is the higher priority. So if he tells me he wants corals and he's into the hobby and all this stuff, you know, I'm gonna spend the money on his tank first. So I'm adding equipment here and made the changes, and we'll see how everything goes. Still have the clam, and it's kind of a different position the way I redid the rock. And actually I sat that rock out to the side for a few minutes. So hopefully he looks like he's coming back out. I know he's irritated. Hopefully he'll be all right. And then the frags all look pretty good. They've only been in here for about 45 minutes, I guess. Zoas are starting to open up. I don't know how much you can see them. The urchin that I have, and I've seen this happen once before, it shed most of its purple spines, and then it kept the ones on the bottom, but then there's some starting to grow back out of the top. I've had people tell me before and talk to people saying when their spines fall off is from high nitrates and they're going to die. They won't make it or survive. I've had them do the same thing before. Now, I've never had this colored urchin. I had like a long spine urchin before, and all of its spines, not all of them, but most of them dropped off, all the long ones, and then they all just grew back, and it did fine. I had it for a number of years. And I tested the water, and I mean, all the water perimeters are fine. So I don't know why that happened or what the deal is with that, but I mean, he's still crawling around everywhere and seems to be fine. But I'll let you know. I'll keep you updated on that. Look on the side here. Still left a little opening in the back for flow. like I said, I'm gonna add another power head. That's my plan anyway. Around to the other side. So lots of little kind of caves and crevices and all now. I like it. I'm really happy with it. All right, let me get this Apex in here and everything set up. I do have his switch over here. He's got his iPod Touch and switch and Google Hub and all that stuff, and Legos out on his desk. He plays all at one time. So this Neptune automatic feeding system, this sucker is really, really light. I mean, you can sit that anywhere. I mean, I could probably sit it on just the screen top and it'd probably be fine. I doubt it's going to break through because it's so light. But like I said, I've never used one of these before. We're going to try it out. But, you know, size-wise and, you know, fits in your hand. Something loose in there or broken, I don't know. We'll have to find out. But I'll get all this hooked up and we'll try it out and see how it functions. Okay, I've got everything mounted in the cabinet. I just mounted those over to the side. You can see my bird's nest. I gotta do some cable management. I actually ordered some of the little, I've got regular zip ties, but I ordered some of the little Velcro strap ones so I can easily remove them when needed, because I had to get in here and cut out all the zip ties that I'd put in place prior. But we have the Apex going. We have the controller back there for the AI Neuro 3. We have the controller for the Tunzi ATO. We have our Bubble Magas dosing pump. And we have our Trigger Systems ATO reservoir. And our dose container. And then I have a small battery backup. It doesn't buy a lot of time, but it works for what I need, considering that when we do have power outages here, it usually just flickers on and off. So the main reason for having it is just for that. You know, if it buys a few minutes, then I'm good with it. If I need longer periods of time where the power's out, I do have a generator that I can run power back here. But that's it prior to cleaning up the wiring, which I'm about to start working on now. Well, actually, I'm not going to work on it until I get the Velcro zip ties in. But that'll do it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions about anything. I still am going to run the automatic feeder and fool around with that a little bit. And then we'll do some updates to let you know how the corals are doing and how all that stuff's doing. It's a final little shot of the tank. All the fish are doing well and swimming around. So everything looks like it's doing good. All right, as always, thanks for watching.